Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Double honors unto the apostles, elders, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutations unto all the Akim, you brothers preaching his word in truth and in sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And shalom unto the hopeful elect, you sincere believers scattered wherever you may be. All right, this is another installment of the scripture of the day. This one being Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 and verse 29. All right, to the point that beloved brother Kaya had brought this out earlier. And Spirit moved me just to touch on it today. You know, given I haven't done one of these in a while. You know, the Wadi Habashim Yahshai for putting the Spirit upon me to do so. And I wanted to highlight this word hypocrite. But let's go ahead and read it. It's Sirach 1 and 29. It says, "Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed when thou speakest." And you could apply this in many different ways. In our everyday life, or just period, right? Be not a hypocrite. Hypocrite, when we go into it, goes into the word actor. But it's very crucial, you know, that we're teaching the correct doctrine, that we're coming up out of the scriptures directly, correctly, dividing the word of truth. But also within our everyday lives, you know, we have to have power over our tongue and watch what we say, what we do as well, but having our actions follow suit or following forth on what we say. We have to be the best that we can be upholding our word in what we say. If we say we're going to do something, we got to do it, you know, or do better at saying Lord willing, you know, because that's another thing too. We have to be saying Lord willing because we don't necessarily know. Our steps are guided from by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you know, but we have to put our best foot forth. When we say something, we have to act on it. You know, we can't be saying one thing and then doing another. That'll be being a hypocrite. And it's not a good look. You know, your credibility will be tarnished, especially in your everyday life, in the workplace, whatever the case may be. You don't want to be that guy saying you're going to do this, and that, and then you're found being lazy, you're not doing it, or you're doing completely opposite. You know, who likes a person like that? Speaking first and foremost to myself, you know, but that's why it's so important to really to just pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that he gives us discipline over our mouth, over our members, period. You know, because we can't do this without the Lord. And we got to take good heed what we speak. All right, it says, what thou speakest. You know, and more so in the ministry. All right, watching what we say. And if we don't know something, putting our hand over our mouth. You know, I could do better at that as well. But yeah, man, this is just something to take heed to. Let me grab that word real quick. And Salaki, I don't know what the fuck, my phone is lagging a little bit, but the word hypocrite. It says false pretender to virtue or religion. Wow. It says stage actor, pretender, dissembler. You know, we can't be no pretenders. We got to be walking a walk, talking a talk and walking a walk. You know, if we're a son of the Most High, hey, we have to uphold them traits of a son. You know, if the Lord is not a man that he should lie, we got to do our best not to be doing so either. You know what I mean? Of course, we're in this flesh, and, but we have to put in the effort. We want to be pretending, be caught being an actor, and we have to practice what we preach. Being a doer of the word and not a hearer only. And let me look up this word hypocrite and see if I want anything else. This is for the Job 15:34. For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate. Fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. Man. Job 20:5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Yeah, because you could give this word over to describe Esau Edom. A man that claims that he's I would say a Judite, so claims that he's a person of the chosen, when everything that he does is contrary to what's written for us to do. That's why he's that hypocrite. And his time is it is running short, We don't want to be aligned with being a hypocrite. Proverbs 11:9, and hypocrite with his mouth, right? With his mouth, you saying one thing and then doing another. Or, a person that just runs their mouth too much and they have all these dreams and aspirations, but it never follows through. That's why we don't want to be labeled with that or have that stigma over us. Because, you look at that person funny, like, who is this dude? What is he talking about? They're like, oh, yeah, he'll say this and that, but he'll never do it. In Proverbs 11:9, and hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. And knowledge comes through what? Out of the mouth of the Lord. Out of his word. From this truth, man, we gain the knowledge. Yep. Man, Matthew, you can read all these. Matthew 6:16. Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. And he was getting on the wicked Sadducees and Pharisees and scribes, you know what I'm saying? Getting on these men because they boast in the law, but then they're doing opposite, perceiving wickedness. Yeah, man. But that's basically the point that you could read about, just type in the word hypocrite in the within the scriptures, and the scriptures will come up, or in the Bible, period. But that's basically it, man. Lord willing, all right, this was edifying and exhorting unto you. I'll read it one more time. Salakia. Sirach 1:29. It says, be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest, right? Let us think before we speak. And knowing when and when not to. Pray to the Lord for more discernment. All right, more understanding, more wise judgment to guide us, man, in our everyday. But with that, again, giving all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash. The honors again to the apostles, elders, great millstone, Shalom, Wa, Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal.